LSU just hired Will Wade in basketball, and I'm a back up. So we can start all the way with Wade Roos, so we can go through the whole timeline. So Wade Roos was hired as the president from McNeese to LSU. So Wade Roos, the president of McNeese, went to LSU to go be the president at LSU. Then months later, well, before that, Will Wade left McNeese to be the head coach at NC State. But LSU men's basketball was doing so bad, there's whispers going on through the whole year that LSU could have a basketball change. They could fire their head coach. But behind the scenes, everybody was like, could Will Wade go back there? And, Will Wade said some comments saying, I would never go back without McNeese athletic director, Heath Schroyer. And so next thing you know, LSU hires Heath Schroyer. Then Will Wade is back at LSU just like that. So a trio at McNeese State people at LSU. So now LSU has Lane Kiffin on a $91 million contract. They bought Brian Kelly out for $54 million. They have their 2026 roster is reported at 40 million. They bought out their current basketball coach for 8 million, and then they buy out Will Wade's contract for 3 million. So LSU, they're throwing around a lot of money right. So I'm gonna ask you this, Antonio. Do you think LSU right now is the premier job in college sports? Not even just college basketball or college football, college sports, because you look at Jay Johnson and the baseball team, they won a national championship in 2023 and 2025. Kim Mulkey and the girls basketball team, they won a natty in 2023. Softball's doing pretty good as well. They're currently ranked in the top 25. So I would just ask you, are they like the premier job in college sports for like all around sports?
I think it would be hard to like give you a school that's got like that much success going on. I think it'd be hard. Surely you could give me some, but even just off the top of my head, trying to think of some, I really couldn't. I feel like they are. Uh, with that, I mean, because you got a lot of resources to work with. Uh, you see how much money they're throwing around, especially with the football program. Uh, Surely they will with the basketball program now, riding this momentum. They got all those hires for McNasty. Uh, I mean, I guess you got more pressure on you, especially because of the brand. The LSU brand's very known. Like you don't get all this money for a reason. Like that's built up success. That's legacy. That's history. Uh, as knowing the right people, I guess. Uh, Talked about it many times. I'll bring it up again. I mean, when the governors get involved with like your operations, I mean, that's like a high standard you got to live up to. Uh, I think it's one of the harder jobs, but it's one of the harder jobs because it's probably one of the best jobs, one of the best schools to work for, at least for like resource availability and the big stage and having it and taking advantage of it. Is there any schools you could think of that be like up there with them? Like any schools that universally like they're just like super strong, especially in like the big moneymaker sports.
You automatically think of Texas. You think of
Right, Texas is one of them.
think of schools like Alabama. I mean, it's a it's a handful of them, but not at the rate that LSU's trying to be at. Because like you see, they're not where they want to be in boys basketball, but they're showing, okay, we can compete in every sport. Like you see most schools, like let's give you an example. North Carolina. Usually you'll see North Carolina put all their eggs into basketball before Bill Belichick. Football, okay, but basketball is what they want to be their main focus. Or you'll see a school like Kentucky. Kentucky's a great example in the SEC. Kentucky basketball has always been their main sport, and Kentucky football has sort of been like, eh. Like traditionally, another school. Like right now, Arkansas in basketball is a juggernaut. Arkansas in college football, eh. It's very rare you see a team that can compete in every single sport because I mean it's just hard to have all that money just going out and investing in every sport, not even just NIL, but tons of other resources you have to look at. Like when I say it's a premier job, I say it's a premier job because like I said this on another show, like in Louisiana, you have the luxury, your home talent, you're not competing with anybody else in state because you are the only Power 4 team in Louisiana. You are the premier program. in Louisiana. Kids in Louisiana want to grow up going to LSU. I mean, like I said, for Texas, I know for a fact there's kids in Texas that grow up Texas A&M fans, Texas Tech fans, TCU fans. You might have some SMU here and there. I mean, it's just very rare that you have a 90% probably kids in Louisiana. You could probably talk about this a little more being from Louisiana, but around 90%, probably more than 90%, grow up saying, I would love to play for LSU one day. Do you think that's
Yes.
accurate?
Oh yeah, for sure. Every damn near every single household in Louisiana has got some sort of LSU something on it. I grew up in one of those households. I mean, I'm not even like an athlete for real. I ain't walk on nowhere. I ain't try nothing. I failed my middle school basketball tryouts, but even I was wanting to play for LSU. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
in any sort of thing. It's kind of just like the branding is so like intertwined in the culture, especially for Baton Rouge, like being where it is. It's not like in the middle. Like Lafayette's more like in the middle, but it's like you got New Orleans on one side and you got like all like Acadiana on the other side. So at least South Louisiana you got under control, and then in North Louisiana it's like you got like the Techs and the ULMs, but they don't hold a candle to like LSU's brand power. LSU is everywhere. You can't avoid that down here. I know since you've been down here, surely you go into literally anywhere sports adjacent, anywhere that could have anything sports related. You run into an LSU something. You driving past somebody with an LSU sticker on their car. You driving past somebody with an LSU flag in their house. You know what I mean? Like everybody wants to, and that like holds a lot of power, especially like for the recruiting. Like it's so huge, especially in state. And then the state isn't one of the greatest ones in the country. Hate to say it. Besides like the food and everything else, I mean the roads, like the infrastructure, the economy. I mean it's like there, but like these people want their outs, you know, like people trying to get out the mud for real. Like Louisiana ain't like all sunshine and rainbows, and LSU is like the big pot of gold at the end of the rainbow type
And
thing. So they hungry for it too, man.
And a lot of people are like criticizing Will Wade for going to NC State, leaving 1 year, going back to LSU. But you got to think about it in Will Wade's shoes. You get fired at LSU the first time around for something that was illegal at the time. Now, anything he did back then is now legal. For people that have lived in Louisiana, people know it's special when you live in Louisiana. It's very hard to leave. It's very hard to leave and not want to come back. So when you see that job that people don't realize it, but when Will Wade was at LSU the first time, he should have went to the tournament 4 out of 5 times if it wasn't for COVID. So he went 3 out of 5, but if it wasn't for COVID, it would have been 4 out of 5. So you see the team you had success with want you to come back, and now the stuff you're doing is legal. That's hard to turn down when you all you know is Louisiana. It's very personal. I don't think it was anything a dish to NC State, but like that's like his home, that's family, that's somewhere he knows he can win. That's somebody he trusts. Like the president McNeese hired him at McNeese. Now he's at LSU. The athletic director that gave him a second chance at McNeese is now the deputy athletic director at LSU. Like it's just personal. I mean, I don't think you can really blame the guy. I mean, he's a nice guy too. I think he sort of gets like a toxic headline like Lane Kiffin, but I mean, I've talked to him multiple times. Like he's a nice guy. Like he's not rude or anything. Like he just did what he had to do.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I can't say I've interacted with him a lot, but every single interaction I had, especially as like some nobody utility guy helping out with the production,
Mm-hmm.
like, he treated me well, and I appreciate him for it. Same for Coach Armstrong. It's like the whole Will Wade tree. Respectful people, I appreciate them all. I'm glad he's getting his second chance for real. Not just as an LSU fan, as like a McNeese graduate, being around, seeing him like revive that program, and I think him going to McNeese helped a lot with that decision too. I think maybe the good feelings he has about them giving him a second chance, just going a couple hours down the road, he didn't have to go too far, do too much. I still low-key think he should have stayed for one more year, but I mean that's not here or there. They still got their success otherwise.
I mean,
I
if
don't
he
know.
would have never left, I mean, he could have took him
Shoot,
to the Sweet 16 this year, then went to LSU.
man,
Nobody would have
that'd have been crazy. Man,
He's not really,
you think if he stuck around, they'd made a little run for real? Because they only lost by 10 to Vandy, and they low key had it. It was kind of just like some
I
shooting.
don't even get me started about that game. I thought they were finna do exactly what they did last year. The way they
Me
were
too.
playing them defensively, I said they got them.
Especially at the start.
Yeah.
Then I woke up and I seen like the first like 6 minutes. I was like, ooh, I was like, hold on, wait.
Yeah.
Just started cooking.
But they're definitely going to get the label as the most toxic athletic department in college sports. I mean, Lane Kiffin, Will Wade, Kim Mulkey, Jay Johnson. Like, oh my, they're going to say that athletic department at LSU is just so toxic.
I mean, it's really championship or bust for like every sport, so I guess I kind of get it.
You got some big personalities.